What is it like being a Jamaican in Nigeria? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, the founder of Jamaicans.com. And today in Jamaicans to the World, I talk to Carmen Latty, a Jamaican living in Nigeria. Hi, Carmen. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, Xavier. Thank you very much. I'm fine, thanks. What
Good,
about
good.
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm happy to finally get someone from Nigeria. So this is just really great. So my question is, which part of Jamaica you come from?
Yeah, I'm from Fairburn, Clarendon. That's way up in the bush, the hills of Upper Clarendon, between Johns Hall and James Hill and K Valley.
Nice.
But my maternal parents are from mother is from Tweedside.
Yes, yes. And you and I spoke a little bit about Tweedside that we know some people there. My mom is from there, so we could even be family and don't even know it.
We could even be family. And I think I went to school, primary school with your mom in Tweedside. So we
Wow.
never know. We never know. I remember my mother telling me, don't marry any Clarendon person because you may marry your family. So there we go.
And my relatives said the same thing. You cannot marry anybody in Tweedside because that's what they grew up being told. Because you may marry one of your cousins.
Okay, fine. So we're in the same boat. We're in
Yes,
the same boat.
yes. And
You
and
Clarendon.
which high school are you representing?
Well, naturally, if you're from Upper Clarendon, represent Clarendon College. I notice you have a lot of Clarendon College people and a lot of Clarendon people. I don't know how you choose them.
I don't know. It just so happened that a lot of Clarendonites are travelers,
Uh-huh.
and there seem to be a lot of explorers. Every second person is from Knox or Clarendon and
Or
Clarendon.
Clarendon College. Yes, yes.
Yes,
I think it's a spirit of exploration. You know, we were brought up to be curious.
right.
And I think that is what guides our moving around so much.
Well, that's great. Well represented. So my next question is this one. How did you get to Nigeria?
Well, as I said when we spoke before, usually if you find a woman this far from home, she must have followed a man. So let's put it 50-50, adventure, love. Um, I was engaged to someone who was a Commonwealth scholar to the University of Lagos. And after a while, I said, okay, let me get to Nigeria and see what happens. But I'm no stranger to Nigeria. I was here for almost a year in 1974. Spending time in Onitsha with my sister who was married to a Nigerian.
Oh, so following going to Nigeria for love runs in the family.
You see what I mean? Oh, you see what I mean? Actually, that hadn't crossed my mind, but it would appear so. It would appear so.
How
And
long
I'm
have you
and I'm
how long
still
have you
here
been?
for love after 29 years.
29 years. Wow. That is a good long time. So your knowledge.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's 29, totally adventurous, exhilarating, disappointing, sometimes scared, but fantastic years. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Good, good, good. So my next question is about the Nigerian people. You've been there 29 years. Tell us a little bit about the people.
Nigerians are fantastic people when they get to know you and when you get to know them. My experience, because I've been in the corporate world for so long, in education and so on and so, it means that you would not meet the rank and file Nigerian. But what
Mm,
I did when I arrived in Nigeria, I spent 1 year just traveling east, west, north, and south, just studying people, studying the sociology of the country, what makes them tick, how do you get along with them, how do you introduce yourself, how do you just generally work the society. That helped me discovering that they're really wonderful, warm, loving people, but you have to know them, because remember, Nigeria has so many tribes and so many languages, 380 languages and
wow.
so many tribes. So you have to be able to balance your emotions and your dealings and everything to match each person from each state and each tribe, because I find that they have different temperament. And
I
so
see.
if you don't know them as individuals, you could mess up. You could mess up.
That's amazing that you have traveled north, east, and west and met all these different tribes. Let me ask you a question. Have you come up on the Mafa
Yes.
people? Have you come up on Mafa?
No, no. It doesn't
Okay,
ring a bell.
okay, because I did my African Ancestry, which is
Uh-huh.
different from ancestry.com, and it tells me
Yeah.
I'm related to the Mafa people, which they say is in the north of Nigeria.
North of Nigeria.
Yes.
No, I haven't. But you've excited my curiosity, so I'm going to go look for that one.
Okay. Okay. And did you get curious enough, or have you looked at your people? Because I know we'd be surprised to know that quite a few of us have ancestry directly to Nigeria.
Well, actually, my mother's ancestry is from eastern Nigeria, the Riverine region, and they left Nigeria through Bonny Island. Bonny Island is Bight of Biafra into Montego Bay, became Gardner. They lost their African identity. So that's as far as I've been able to trace my mother's ethnicity to. And but my father is not African.
Oh, I
All of
see.
that is covered in my autobiography, which I wrote last year, Dare to Be.
Oh, and I know you right, and I know we're going a little off the track of my typical questions. Folks, you need to know, even though I'm calling our Carmen Latty, Carmen is well decorated. It's Dr. Carmen to I guess a lot of folks here. She has written books. Very influential there in Nigeria, and so we can get your book on Amazon, Carmen.
No, I make it available, on request,
Okay,
not Amazon, but I can tell you privately how to get
okay,
it.
all right, no problem. And folks in the comments, I'll be sure to add information there so that you could find out. All right, I'm going to move along, Carmen, and
Yes.
I'm going to talk about food. What
Okay.
What is the food in Nigeria like? And what would be the dish you would recommend that we try?
Now, as a Jamaican, Nigerian food, first of all the ingredients that we use in Jamaica are here in Nigeria. So I cook Jamaican food in my house, and everybody who works for me through a cooking course of Jamaican food. I don't have salt fish, but for the Nigerian foods, I personally like Eba, but then I am from Clarendon. I grew up on cassava. So I like Eba, and
Is
Eba I eat with any other meat, what the typical Nigerian soup, it would be eba with vegetable soup or eba with egusi or something like that. I mix it up a bit. Um,
okay.
Akwa Ibom,
Is
I
Eba white
liked,
yam?
no, it's cassava. It's
Okay.
cassava. It's what when I was a child we used to call turn cassava.
Mm.
You remember, right? It, So I like eba. I adore pounded yam, which again
Okay.
I knew as a child growing up in Jamaica. But I'm I'm just too small for pounded yam. I would sleep for quite a few days if I had a Nigerian sized pounded yam. And pounded yam is served with a Nigerian soup, again, egusi, vegetable soup, edikaikong from Akwa and so on and so forth. As a Jamaican, you can manage because you can cook your own Jamaican foods.
All right. So let me ask you this, because when I visited Nigeria, I asked if there is any yellow yam, and it didn't seem like yellow yam was one of the favorite yams. So
No, but
have you found it? I found yellow yam.
I saw yellow yam in the east once, but never again. It's this white yam, but then Nigeria has the nicest yam in the world. It's just the white yam I know, and I know old yam and new yam.
Right.
But it's fantastic. I like yam. It's the same yam you pound anyway.
Right. All right. So I'm going I'm going to go back a little bit to people for a minute here. Right?
Yes.
We talked just a little bit. The When I visited Nigeria, the
Uh-huh.
temperament of the people seemed
Uh-huh.
a little similar to where it's like either I like you or I don't like you.
My
And
brother, it's not similar, it's one and the same. It's either I like you or I don't like you. Jamaicans say my spirit not take you.
yes,
The Nigerians say I don't trust them. But I think one of the reasons I have been able to settle and get along so well, it's not every time the tact and the diplomacy helps. You have to
right,
say it like it is, or I don't understand it. And if I don't understand it, be prepared for anything I do to you. Just let me understand. As I said in a paper to the Flair newspaper some years ago, there's a Nigerian in every Jamaican, including myself.
uh, I I I saw that temperament as I drove around and whatever. It's like the facial expressions, the you're like, listen, it's like if they like you, they like you. If they
Like
don't like
them. If
you,
I don't
they
like
say
you, they
no.
don't like you. Mm. And I tell you something. I don't speak any of the major languages or any even of the other ethnic languages. But the Nigerian pidgin, everybody speaks pidgin. And pidgin is another form of Jamaican patois.
I see.
You know, we will say, may I come? And here we will say, are they come? But it's the same walking in the opposite direction, and I'm calling you and I say, are they come?
I know some of our words,
Even to,
are sprinkled with African words.
yeah, I've been able to manage because I understand pidgin very well, and the lingua. When the Nigerian says, I no go, I no go come kill myself, or I can't kill myself for you, eh? And when you're talking rubbish and you say, what thing you they talk? The, and to manage certain categories of staff, you must know some pidgin. I found that I get along better knowing some pidgin. Of course, when I talk it, everybody laughs because with the accent and the pidgin and whatever. But
So let me ask you this question. When folks learn that you are Jamaican, and I know you've been there 29 years now, but when they find
yes,
out you're Jamaican, what is a typical reaction?
I remember when I came to Nigeria first and I said I'm Jamaican. The first question is, how come you're not Rasta? They expected me to have locks and to be Rastafarian and so on. But we have a fair number of Nigerians, of Jamaicans in Nigeria. You know, Jamaicans came here in three phases. In the 1800s, during amalgamation, part one and part two, and then post independence in the last 50 years. So I'm one of the third generation in Nigeria. Um, and after they ask you, oh, how come you're not Rasta? The next question would, of course, the international question, because I found the same thing in Japan in 1984, is sing Bob Marley for me.
Uh, so so let me ask you this. You had children in Nigeria?
I brought him from Jamaica. He's an imported product. And when we arrived at the airport, 1982, he looked around the airport, and I remember he said to me, Mommy, are there no white people living in this country? And we all just cracked up. Then we drove into a petrol station, and there was a sign, free air. And he then turned to Osita, who was a friend that met us, and he said, Uncle Osita, so air is not free in this country. You have to buy it, And but I tell you, he had a fantastic upbringing in Nigeria. Nigeria allowed me to bring up a much better child than if I had stayed in Jamaica with him. That growing up in the 70s baby, you had to be very careful with those children because they could get totally warped. And
I see.
bringing him to Nigeria, it gave him such a wide experience that even a week ago we were talking about it, and he said, Mommy, thank you. I had a fantastic childhood.
Great,
He went to
great.
school, he came back, he said, Mommy, imagine you can buy 10 naira rice and 5 naira meat, and all those things. He'd never seen anybody going to the standpipe, and he was anxious to carry a bucket and to fetch water. He had a really, really fantastic upbringing.
Great, great. Let me ask you this. Is there a custom that when you got to Nigeria, is a local custom that you said, this custom is kind of different? Do you remember a custom that you said, it was kind of different?
I'm thinking,
You know,
boy,
I
these
I
Nigerian people can dance. I tell you, they every Nigerian can dance and sing.
I
But
I've seen the videos. I've seen the new dances every week. There's a new dance.
yes, that was intriguing. The next thing was the size of weddings and parties. I mean, who
Right.
goes to a wedding with 3,000 people?
Wow.
And and if you go to this wedding with 3,000 people and you haven't brought your own crowd, then nobody talks to you and you don't have anybody to talk to. So you will just be sitting there, and everybody will be looking at my fingernails and wondering, are they natural or are they made, and so on. And nobody talks to you. And when you catch their
Wow.
eye, they look away from you. So going to a party, to a wedding, to a funeral, you better carry your own entourage if you want somebody to talk with. That I
Wow.
found very curious. And it still exists. So now I don't go to any weddings because I can't manage that crowd.
Right.
The last wedding I went, I remember standing at the lobby of the hotel and waiting for my car 1 hour just to come from the car park to the lobby to pick me up because of the traffic, the wedding traffic. And I
I-
said, no, I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going
wow.
to do this. But it's fabulous. I mean, the dressing and the music and the food. And I never seen a people who love food more than Nigerians. Man,
Car- Carmen, that is just wonderful, wonderful. I'm gonna move on to same wedding type of question, right?
yeah,
And move into that part of it. So let me ask you this because I've seen these Nigerian weddings and I've seen it in film and the dancing and so on. And it is just so amazing. But the films you all push out, Nollywood, as they call it,
yeah.
how is that? How I mean, it seems that there's a new Nigerian film as you say in Jamaica, as you quint, there's a new Nigerian film.
Man, everybody here is a movie star. But I don't watch a lot of Nigerian movies.
Right.
In the early days when I just came here, I used to laugh and I say, in other films, when you shoot man, you hear a gunshot and him dead. In this Nigerian one, when you shoot him dead and you hear the shot after him dead.
They've gotten better. I think the films have gotten better.
In the early days, the movies had a lot more to it, a lot more to it.
Right, right. So the music there, the
Yes,
Afro beats has gotten big and dancehall reggae has gotten big there. Are you
yes.
were you surprised by how huge reggae and dancehall and the fusion?
No, no, because as I say, Nigerians are party people. They love life, they enjoy life. And especially because of the relationship between Nigeria and Jamaica, especially in the last 20 years. And Nigerians travel a lot. They travel all over the world, every nook and cranny. And they bring back things. They are great imitators and they mimic you and they enjoy life. And so because of that, music and film is an endemic part of their culture. And I really love it. I enjoy it.
Great, great. I'm getting close to winding down. Very intriguing, but the question I have for you is this: what would you say is your biggest adjustment when you move to Nigeria? Because I would say this: the one thing I know I could not adjust to is the traffic.
Traffic. That is, that is the biggest challenge. As a matter of fact, it has me more housebound than COVID.
Wow, wow.
I think that says it. I live in normal life 2 hours from Lagos, but getting in the traffic, it could take me up to 7 hours to get home.
Wow.
Yeah, yes.
Wow.
And I've been caught in Lagos traffic, a journey that should have been half of an hour. You have been to Nigeria from
Yes.
Lagos to Ikeja. technically that should be a 30-minute ride.
Yep. When I came there, I went to the market and it took us what should be, I think, half an hour. Took us 3 hours to get to the market.
You were going from Ikoi to Balogun Market, which is in Lagos Island.
I don't remember where, but but I think you and I discussed it, and you said it's probably there.
Yeah. Yes, it's Balogun Market. And that's under normal circumstances. A 30-minute drive, find somewhere to park. And it's not just the vehicular traffic. The human traffic is equally heavy.
Yes.
I mean, try walking on the sidewalk, and you know what I mean.
I've
It's equally
never,
heavy.
I don't think I've been to China, and I don't think I've seen more people in a city than the amount of people I saw in Lagos.
Lagos. But um, there are other cities where you can walk. I lived in north central Nigeria and worked for 9 years, Ilorin, Kwara State. And in Kwara State, you could drive around Ilorin in half of an hour, corner to corner. But it's Lagos that the traffic is really gilded.
Wow, wow. Let me ask you another question. And I know I hate the comparisons sometimes, but I still have to ask a question. Cost of living.
So,
What's the cost of living like there in Nigeria?
Xavier, I'm going to say this at the risk of being taken to task. The way we foreigners can live in Nigeria, we could not afford it in our own country. Because you can have a driver, a gardener, a cook, a butler, a security man, and 200 US can cover the cost for the month. The cost of living, it depends on where you live and your lifestyle. But,
Mm,
but then you consider it, and it really bleeds my heart when I know that 70% of Nigerians live below the poverty line. You know,
mm,
and that is what got me into such philanthropy. But it's the cost of living. It depends on how you want to live. You know,
right.
how you want to live. If you want to have a big belly, which is a sign of wealth and prosperity, then you eat that amount. You want to, look average. It depends, but the majority of the people here really suffer. They really
Oh
suffer.
man. Oh.
I,
Um,
I, I
yeah.
wish Jamaicans would wake up. Jamaica is a beautiful country. They have so much going for us. But the way I have lived in Nigeria, and I came from a luxurious lifestyle in Jamaica, it would have been difficult to sustain it so continuously in Jamaica.
Hmm. Let me ask you this question in terms of if there's a event,
Mhm.
location, something. If I visit Nigeria, you would say
Yeah,
you must see or visit or do this. What would that be?
it would be Badagry, the Heritage Museum. Badagry is the last point that the the people who were captured to go into the Americas and the Caribbean as slaves. That was where they left from. So there is a museum that it tells the story very vividly. And the sea, just the gate of no return. I wouldn't miss that folk museum and a tour of Badagry at all, you
Okay,
know.
okay. I went to the point of no return in Ghana. Very
Ghana, yeah,
very
emotional.
yes, the emotions. As I talk about it, I get goosebumps because it's you remember the emotions that you
Yeah.
feel. Yeah, yeah, very emotional.
I live 30 minutes from Badagry. And when I want to reminisce, I go to Badagry for the day and just tour the museum and just look around, you know. But the way we are in the West about slavery and all of that, it's not a similar sentiment here. It's different, but it's really is a reminder,
Okay.
of where you came from.
You said different. Could you explain a little bit in terms of how different it's viewed there? I don't want to go too deep, but because it probably is a intellectual discussion that you and I can have offline. But
That's sort
give
of
us,
the time.
but
But
give us
I
a basic
remember
idea.
the first time I went to Badagry, and I went to one of the smaller museums. And the fellow, he was very happy to tell me that my father was a slave trader. He caught slaves, he caught people, he sold them to the ship, and he made so much money and so on. And he was very happy to tell me the story. And I said, "Aren't you ashamed of yourself?" And he said, "No, it was the economy of the time." So, whereas
Mm,
I was feeling bitter, he was feeling joyous. His grandparents made a lot of money, and for him, slavery was a matter of economics. And
mm.
it was difficult for me as a black person to hear that coming from another black person. That's what I mean by different.
I see. Because my Ghana, when I went to Ghana, and we were
Hmm.
touring the slave castle there. I always mess the name up.
Yeah,
Um, the gentleman apologized to us,
yes,
and he said, "Listen, we didn't know where we were sending you, and
yeah,
we had no idea what your faith would have been. We had no clue." And
yeah.
very apologetic and before we started the tour, and so that view was interesting for me, to hear
Mhm.
that point of view.
The Ghanaian will apologize, but it's not the Nigerians' fault. They don't teach that history in this country.
Mm,
So all of this history that we know and this American history and Caribbean history is not taught in Nigeria. So, you know,
I see.
somebody will tell you, my people sold your people, as if,
Mm,
that's sold. You had every right to be sold. But it's because of the way the history is taught.
I
Ghana
see.
is, you know,
A little
they're
different.
different that yes, emotionally connected to the Caribbean differently.
Well, Carmen, I appreciate the time you have spent giving us just a little taste of what Nigeria is about. Any words of advice for anyone that is thinking of moving to Nigeria before my last question? This is my second to last question.
I feel very secure here. Back in Jamaica, I'm one of 3 million. Here, I'm one of 180 to 200 million. So it's more
Mm,
difficult for people to find me. But if you want to move to Nigeria, you have to have grit, you have to have guts, you have to have determination, you can't be fearful, and you have to be prepared to work bloody hard.
okay. All right. Good piece of advice there. So here is how I typically end. You know some pidgin, the pidgin language, or so how do you say goodbye in the most informal way in one of the languages that you know from Nigeria? And you're going to teach me how to say it.
Um, I'm thinking. Oh, it's just evading me. It's just evading me now.
All right. I
But
won't.
if it's in the night and you're leaving, then it's Odaro, meaning good night or something like that. That's
All
in
right.
Yoruba language.
I will go with that because I know we're in two different time zones here. So,
Yes,
Carmen,
yes.
thank you again, and Odaro.
I'm gone. See you.
Show some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.